Okay, well, you fought your way through the black ant hill and you've arrived at the lab at the bottom, smashed the glass, and you found your way in. And you're about to jump into possibly your first boss fight in Grounded. But before you get carried away, there's a few things you should do first. The first thing I would do is get your mutations correct. Obviously, you're all going to have your own favourites depending on what weapons you use and your particular setups. My advice would be to go with either a stamina mutation, a health mutation, and maybe one for your weapons. You could swap one of those in and out for the blocking mutation. But yeah, I'd say stamina, a health like meat shield, and a blocking mutation. Here I think I'm going to go with parry master, blade master, and meat shield because I'm going to use certain weapons. The next thing I'd do is customize your hot pouch. Make one specifically for the boss fight so you're not missing stuff as you fight. In this instance, I'm going to use the mosquito needle because I like that health back. I'm going to use the insect hammer because it has a bonus on hitting the assistant manager, and I'm going to put the insect boat in there with me. I'm also going to add in my relative buffs. So I've got my bandages. I've got my sloppy goo, which is the sloppy goo. I think it gives you a health buff each time, and it adds to your it gives you a regeneration tick, so a heal over time. And I'm also going to eat that omelette. As somebody you saw, I just ate that. So I've got my buffs in order now. So I think we're just about ready to go. Here we go. So the fight is pretty straightforward. It's just that there's a lot of moving parts. As you get into the action, there's a lot of things coming at you at once, and it's trying to deal with those as you go. So my first bit of advice would be to deal with the mobs. If you just let them go and ignore them, they'll just mount up to such a number that you can't actually fight anymore. So you've got time. There's no need to rush. Take care of the mobs, and you can see I took care of those very easily. I'm using the insect hammer. I'm using a shield, and I've also got that parry master, so my blocks are good. And I've taken care of them. And now I can just sort of have a leisurely bash on the assistant manager and get him down to a certain amount of health. He will set off the lasers at the middle of the map as you see. He's got his back up against them at the moment at some point soon, but you can deal with those fairly easily. So just bash away and he'll get down to about 3/4 health before he fires at those lasers. There you go. I'm staying on top of my health, and I'm probably also going to stay on top of my bandages. There we go. He's fired at the lasers. So in the early game, dealing with the lasers is pretty easy. You can either fight on the steps here, which is where I am, or stand behind these columns. As you can see, as the lasers come round, they can't pierce the columns. It makes it a bit awkward to fight there because obviously the mobs come in and you're trying to deal with them and dodge lasers. So my advice would be to sort of not stand behind those pillars and just jump the lasers and keep yourself moving at all times. Then as the lasers drop, go back in and carry on bashing the boss, and also deal with the mobs at the same time. So here comes the mobs. I've got that one quite low, and this one as well. And just sort of keep moving, keep your eye on those. It's the best way, I think, is to hop the lower laser and move along at the same speed as the two higher lasers. You can always hop the lower one quite easily. Like I've taken care of one mob, just taking care of the next, taking a bit of hit on my damage. So I'm going to probably heal up again. And just stay on top of those hills, don't let that get too low. Obviously I've got the meat shield, so my health is quite high, and I've also got my my mosquito needle to pull out when I need to get some health buffs going. It's a quick attack, that is. It's not as effective as the insect hammer, but it works well. So there you go, we're getting towards half damage now on the assistant manager. And as you might know if you've already been here before, he's going to start using the 4 external towers and putting an electrical charge in them. That's when it gets a little more frantic at that point. But at the moment, we're down to about half health here, and it's easy on at the moment. Okay, he's propped more mobs. I'll get my words out. So again, deal with those guys. The bouncing balls of electricity aren't too hard to deal with. I find you can just block those and bounce them back. They do bounce off the back of the mobs as well. So, okay, so here you go. He's fired up the 4 towers now. So it becomes a little more difficult at this point. And I would say, unless you particularly want to fight in the centre of the map, move the fight onto the steps now. You see the steps that I'm on? The electrical fields can't reach the steps. So as long as you're on those steps, the electrical fields can't reach them. And also the lower laser beam can't reach the steps. So it negates 2 out of the 3 attacks. Obviously you can fight in the centre of the map when the electrical fields are going, electrical charges. But you also have to fight the jump and dodge underneath those laser beams as they go around. But you can see I'm pretty safe here. The lower laser beam can't touch me, charges can't touch me. I've dealt with the mobs, and it's just keeping things going at the moment, keeping things going. Okay, I brought out the mosquito needle now for some health buffs. And again, get the bow out and start hitting him at long range, just keeping the damage going. There's no heals on the assistant manager, so he won't heal. I missed that laser, those 2 lasers come around then. So you can see my health's pretty low now. I'm going to take the opportunity to heal up again, take the slop and the bandage, and then get some damage going on the boss again. Right, you're down to about quarter health now, so we're doing really well. Health's a little low, but we're still in sort of control of this at the moment. Just keep applying the pressure to him, keep your eyes on those double lasers, and keep going back to as soon as you see that he pulls out the second, he summons the second defenses, the lasers and the electrical charge at the same time, run back to those steps straight away. And I'm not being tempted down there as much as I want to go and hit him until those things stop, till they stop firing, and then get back into hitting. Use the tower this time to fight. So you see, I haven't really been under too much pressure at the moment, even there's a lot going on. This keeps the sort of attacks to a minimum, ducking under, coming down the steps there to duck under those 2 lasers. So if you stay on the steps, you're going to have to jump those 2 lasers, which you can do, and just keeping him whilst at a distance, keep the pressure on him, wearing him down with the insect spray. Not particularly high damage, but it's just keeping it up. As you can see, he's down to like 10-15% health now. We're nearing the end. He hasn't. Okay, took another hit from the 2 lasers. And I don't think I'm going to... yeah, I've dropped a quick heal on that point. Okay, and he's coming up close to me, so I can bounce that laser ball back to him. Lightning ball, shall I say. Then get to him with the insect axe. The insect axe is probably the best weapon early on game to fight him with. It's just pretty slow and uses up your stamina, which is why I said you should take up a stamina mutation with you. But this is the end. He hasn't pulled any more mobs down, and these are the last few blows. Duck under the lasers. Oh, and he's down. So you have it pretty straightforward, actually. I think when you first start playing it, you get the shocking dismissal mutation. When you first start fighting him, there's so many moving parts, and it's a bit you become overcome with it all. But once you manage to step back a little bit and look at it, you start seeing a bit of a pattern to it. But that would be my advice. So there you go. Best of luck. Try it out for yourselves, and I hope you succeed. All right, take care. Bye.